Desiree Perez. To some, she's the ultimate music mogul, a queen pin behind Jay-Z's empire, pulling strings at Roc Nation, signing megastars like Rihanna and Shakira. But to others, she's a walking contradiction, a former federal informant whose past includes wearing a wire for the DEA, flipping on drug traffickers, and navigating the music world with a ruthless edge. Now, that dark past is back in the headlines, and not just because of business. Her daughter has filed a lawsuit against her. Nicki Minaj is firing off tweets, and Tory Lanez's father is shouting from courthouse steps that Desiree helped railroad his son into prison. This isn't just industry gossip, it's a deep dive into power, loyalty, betrayal, and how far one woman will go to protect her image, her empire, and her control. From the streets to the suites, from federal courtrooms to family feuds, this is the explosive full story of Desiree Perez, hip-hop's most feared and protected executive.
Did you know that your favorite fake rapper Kingpin's co-CEO was/is a major federal informant?
Before the red carpets and executive meetings, Desiree Perez was deeply embedded in a very different world. In the mid-1990s, she was arrested in connection with a major cocaine trafficking ring. Facing years, if not decades, behind bars, she took a drastic route. She cooperated with the DEA. Court documents reveal she wore wires and helped federal agents build cases against high-level traffickers. Her cooperation drastically reduced her sentence, but it came with a permanent label: Informant. In the street culture of hip-hop, where silence is a code, that kind of past isn't just controversial, it's unforgivable. But instead of vanishing, Perez re-emerged. By the 2000s, she was connected with Jay-Z and Rockefeller affiliates. She proved herself through shrewd business instincts and soon became an insider at Roc Nation. By the 2010s, she was the company's CEO, handling massive artist deals, sports contracts, and billion-dollar negotiations. Her rise was swift, strategic, and almost unprecedented, especially for someone with such a scandalous past. As Desiree Perez rose through the ranks of Roc Nation, so did the size of the deals she orchestrated. Under her leadership, the company inked partnerships with global brands and built empires around artists like Rihanna, J. Cole, and Meek Mill. She managed major ventures in music, sports, fashion, and live events. Industry insiders called her brilliant, cutthroat but brilliant. Yet her leadership style sparked growing controversy. Critics accused her of fostering a toxic environment defined by intimidation and exploitation. Lawsuits piled up. Contractors at Jay-Z's 40/40 Club claimed bounced checks. Artists and producers alleged unpaid royalties, and employees complained of wage theft and hostile conditions. Former vendors described Roc Nation as slow to pay, or worse, refusing to pay at all. While Perez's allies praised her as a fearless negotiator, her opponents saw someone willing to cross any ethical line to win. Behind the sleek branding and corporate polish, a darker pattern emerged, one of calculated risk, burned bridges, and unresolved legal battles. In July 2020, a shooting incident in the Hollywood Hills made headlines worldwide. Megan Thee Stallion accused Canadian rapper Tory Lanez of shooting her in the feet during an argument after a party. The story quickly escalated into one of the most divisive legal battles in hip-hop. But behind the courtroom drama, a shadow loomed: Roc Nation. Megan was signed to Roc Nation for management. Tory Lanez, who maintained his innocence, was later found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Then came an explosive accusation. Tory's father, Sunstar Peterson, publicly blamed Roc Nation, and specifically Desiree Perez, for manipulating the legal system to ensure his son's conviction. Outside the courtroom, he screamed, "Roc Nation, you will crumble! Desiree Perez, you are wicked." He claimed the company used its industry influence and media ties to turn public opinion and pressure the courts. Whether true or not, the accusations ignited suspicion, reigniting scrutiny over Perez's controversial past and her alleged influence in silencing or destroying those who oppose her. If her business controversies weren't enough, Desiree Perez now faces an attack from the one person who knows her best, her own daughter. In July 2025, Demory Hadley filed a bombshell lawsuit against her mother, accusing Perez of abusing her power to wrongfully institutionalize her using Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act. These laws allow individuals to be detained for mental health evaluations, but Demory alleges Perez falsely claimed she was a threat to herself in order to silence her. The lawsuit claims Perez manipulated doctors and officers to carry out the act, then used her influence to control the media narrative by allegedly leaking defamatory stories to TMZ. Even more shocking, Demory says this was all retaliation for speaking out against Roc Nation and her mother's leadership. The lawsuit is filled with disturbing claims of emotional abuse, wrongful imprisonment, and reputation destruction, accusing Perez of being not just a controlling CEO, but a controlling parent willing to sacrifice her daughter's freedom to protect her image. In a turn no one saw coming, global superstar Nicki Minaj took to social media and broke her silence on the Perez scandal. In a series of cryptic but powerful tweets, Nicki claimed she had received juicy confirmations about Roc Nation's alleged misconduct, and she wasn't holding back. Though she didn't name Desiree Perez directly, the timing was impossible to ignore. Nicki had just followed and liked posts from Demory Hadley, Perez's daughter, who had just filed her lawsuit. In a bold move, Nicki appeared to publicly side with Demory, implying there were deeper secrets yet to be revealed about Roc Nation and its leadership. The response was immediate. Nicki's fan base, the Barbs, erupted across social media, launching trending hashtags like #JusticeForDemory and flooding Roc Nation's posts with criticism. The backlash was so intense, Desiree Perez's legal team even cited Barb's tweets in their court filings, suggesting Nicki's influence could sway public opinion and possibly affect the case. In that moment, silence became complicity, and Nicki chose a side. As Perez's legal troubles and accusations multiplied, you'd expect the hip-hop community to take a stance, especially with someone this powerful at the center of controversy. But instead, the silence has been deafening. Roc Nation artists like Meek, Rihanna, J. Cole, and DJ Khaled have all remained publicly quiet. Behind the scenes, insiders say many fear industry blacklisting or legal consequences if they speak out. Even media personalities tread lightly. Joe Budden, on his podcast, declined to discuss the situation, simply saying, "There's a kid involved, and I'm staying out of that." DJ Academics, known for speaking his mind, cautiously referred to the vibe around Perez as intentional bullying. Rapper Boozy Badazz, however, didn't hold back. He openly questioned why Perez, with her informant past, wasn't in federal protection, saying, "That's wild, bro. Anyone else would have been touched by now." Their reactions, or lack thereof, highlight the climate of fear and caution. In an industry built on authenticity, this silence speaks louder than any track. To understand how we got here, we need to look at the timeline, because this didn't happen overnight. 1994, Desiree Perez is arrested in connection with major cocaine trafficking operations. Facing hard time, she becomes a DEA informant, wearing a wire and helping bust drug rings. 1996 to 2000 teens, she resurfaces quietly in New York's business circles, eventually linking with JayZ. 2009 to 2015, Perez becomes a trusted executive at Roc Nation, overseeing business growth. 2017, her past goes public, but she receives a presidential pardon from Donald Trump, erasing her criminal record on paper. 2020, the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion case erupts. Perez is accused of influencing the trial behind the scenes. 2023, online scrutiny intensifies, with fans questioning Perez's informant past. 2025, her daughter files a bombshell lawsuit, and Nicki Minaj publicly hints at Roc Nation corruption. Each moment builds on the last, turning a once-hidden backstory into one of the biggest, most controversial narratives in hip-hop's corporate history. With lawsuits pending, public opinion shifting, and industry whispers getting louder, the future of Desiree Perez is uncertain. Officially, she remains the CEO of Roc Nation, still signing deals, managing artists, and navigating partnerships. But behind the scenes, sources say the tension is real. Some artists are reportedly questioning her leadership. Others fear that aligning with Perez might hurt their brand. In a world where optics matter and reputations can be destroyed overnight, every move counts. The lawsuit from her daughter hasn't been dismissed. It's ongoing. More court dates are expected. And with Nicki Minaj and Tory Lanez's father continuing to stir the conversation, the storm isn't passing anytime soon. The bigger question, will Roc Nation stand by her or quietly begin distancing themselves? Can someone with this much baggage continue leading one of hip-hop's biggest empires without consequence? Or will this be the scandal that finally topples a woman once considered untouchable? From street-level drug operations to billion-dollar boardrooms, from confidential DEA files to explosive courtrooms, the story of Desiree Perez is more than a personal scandal. It's a mirror reflecting the power structures that control modern music. Her rise is unmatched, her influence undeniable, and her controversies increasingly impossible to ignore. But as lawsuits close in, celebrities start speaking out, and her own family turns against her, it's no longer just about business. It's about survival. Is Perez a brilliant survivor, using every tool available to thrive in a cutthroat world? Or is she a manipulative architect of silence, control, and fear? One thing is certain, this story is far from over. And you, yes you, should be watching every move. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Is Desiree Perez a power-abusing executive or just misunderstood? Do you believe Tory Lanez's father, Nicki Minaj, Demory Hadley? Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more raw, untold truths from the world of music and power. We'll be tracking this saga until the very end.